he said directly. The inside of Tongzhou City has been infiltrated by the human race, and you guys still dare to be so leisurely and watch the show here. Are you thinking that when the time comes, you'll be taken back by those demons and show your incompetence? Although he didn't pursue them for trouble, but he didn't give it at all. One of the several figures, hearing these words, immediately changed his face and immediately asked, "Where are the people who lurked in? These spies dared to lurk in. It seems that they really don't know how to die." At that moment, he released his divine thoughts, and in the blink of an eye, he understood the situation over there. The figure snapped, traveled directly that way at speed. As for the people here, they had the good sense to chase after the city lord. It seems that the crisis has been lifted for the time being. I just don't know if I can catch these assassins. If you catch it, you'll be able to learn more or less useful information, Chu Feng muttered. At that moment he followed these people and gave chase. Xiao Qian is still over there, although he knows she will be fine, but he still has worries. The wind pulls the hue and cry. Hurry up! The assassins and others who were tangling with Xiao Qian over there, seeing dozens of figures running over in the center of the city, they avoided Xiao Qian and were about to escape. But is Xiao Qian so easy to bully? After she directly ate the move that had been against her hard, she took this opportunity to directly disengage from the battlefield. The speed skyrocketed, and in the blink of an eye, he was behind one of the assassins. It was directly grasped in his hands under the surge of spiritual energy. Humph! Wanting to find out information about us? You're trying to dream. The black-clothed man in the lead saw what Xiao Qian did and instantly knew what the other party was thinking. The face said grimly, and then chased after Xiao Qian, slapping hard at Xiao Qian. Sensing the danger attacking, Xiao Qian subconsciously made an evasive movement, directly avoiding his opponent's moves. But who knew that the palm seemed to have known Xiao Qian's movements, and did not pursue Xiao Qian, but instead turned in the direction and ruthlessly slapped on the captured assassin. The assassin had originally seen the lead boss coming over and thought he was about to be saved. Who knew that not only did he not save himself, but instead he slapped him hard. End of chapter. Chapter 143 Trouble. Chapter 143 Trouble. Who knew that the other party not only didn't think about saving himself, but instead was ready to put himself to death. At that moment, there was a mouthful of anger vented in his heart, and a wave of resentment instantly assaulted his chest. This aura of indignation caused his entire being to be in rebellion, hating to take revenge on himself. Immediately, an aura surged up, blocking some of the power of this palm, causing him to stay a little bit angry. Xiao Qian, who reacted, immediately knew that she had been tricked, and at that moment, her anger rose and she swung her sword to chop at the other party. Unfortunately, the assassin leader saw that the people from the city lord's side immediately came over, and stopped tangling with her at that moment. Just a slight shake of his head in regret, and not sure if he was sorry that this side of him didn't decapitate his captured teammates, still for not having decapitated Chu Feng, and regretted revealing his presence. Unfortunately, these times, he no longer had the opportunity. As the city lord's office saw the ruins over here, the aftermath of the engagement, they immediately knew what was going on over here. The speed surged up. Go! The leading old man let out a stern cry, and at that moment, he flew away. Just as Xiao Qian wanted to pursue, the captive he caught suddenly poof, as if it was going to end. When Xiao Qian saw this, she immediately let out a cold snort, and said with unwillingness in her gaze, "I'll let you off this time, but you won't be so lucky next time." After the city lord of Tongzhou City arrived here, he could not help but be shocked in his heart when he saw Xiao Qian, and became even more alarmed about Chu Feng's identity. But now it was no longer up to him to think about it, and he immediately stepped forward and said, "Tongzhou City Division Demon General Demon Child meets the Palace Master. I don't know that the Palace Master is coming, and it's a long way to welcome him, so I ask the Palace Master to forgive me." Although his strength was even stronger than Xiao Qian's, their identities were completely different. One was a half-heir next to the Demon Emperor who might inherit the throne of the Demon Emperor, and the other was an ordinary demon race. The status is nothing compared to that. Xiao Qian turned back and first looked up Chu Feng's position, and only after seeing that he was unharmed did her heart involuntarily let out a sigh of relief, and then said to the demon child, "You can't be blamed for the suddenness of this one, but letting these people lurk in here. Your defenses are a complete sieve." When the devil child heard the first sentence, his heart was relieved, but the words that immediately followed made his heart immediately lift up and he said in a hurry, "This matter? Our city lord's mansion will definitely probe into the matter and make them pay." When Xiao Qian heard this, she then nodded her head and said, "Good, then I'll give you 3 days. If you still can't find their hiding place as well as find their purpose, don't blame me for looking for your trouble." The devil boy wiped the cold sweat from his head and said in a hurry, Yes, Palace Master. I'll immediately go back and make arrangements. I'll definitely find out where they are within the stipulated time. For the two Chao Qian who suddenly appeared here, he still wished to receive Chu Feng as opposed to Chao Qian, although Chu Feng's words were extremely impolite. But the other side of all things are placed in the open, completely different from this palace master in general, are not given a specific thing to do within the body. Such a task is the most difficult to do. When Chao Qian saw that this demonic child agreed, she didn't continue to make things difficult for the other party and waved her hand, letting him leave. As for the captive in her hands, she instantly brought Chu Feng to a corner and directly came at him hard and asked, "Spill your information, will you? Don't talk about the rules and the secrecy. You know that this chief of yours has not put you in his heart at all, and when he saw that you had been caught, not only did he not think of bringing you out, but instead he was ready to cut you down. So is such a chief still worthy of your service?" Cochise opened the door and inquired. To be honest, in the immortal and demon continent, if you want to collect information, you can completely open without the other party saying it. You have to know that there are so many magical secret techniques here that you are completely capable of prying memories out of someone's head. But there are great disadvantages to doing so. That is, the information collected is extremely incomplete. At the same time there are some forbidden secrets, directly by the beating cultivator under the forbidden secrets, making if I have some pit distance, there is absolutely no way to search out the content. On the contrary, if the other person is willing to talk about it, it won't take much effort at all. Originally, Chao Qian was planning to force a soul search, but who knew that the chief even made such a thing, which directly sent this captive to his own hands. Originally, the man hadn't intended to speak, but as Chao Qian lifted up the chief, he recalled that he had done so, and instead of being rescued, he had been silenced in return. This directly caused his heart to be filled with anger and resentment, and he directly opened his mouth. This chief is a great cultivator of the transformation mortal realm within the human race, Wuxing Lao Dao, with extraordinary strength, and is one of the leaders who led the team to hunt down this lord this time. The captive glanced at Chu Feng before Feng continued. As he recounted, Chu Feng also understood a little bit of information. That was after the other party had fallen out with Sword Idiot and the Aqua Holy Maiden. In a fit of rage in his heart, he did not care about the persuasion of these men of theirs, and directly led the team, and then came to assassinate Chu Feng. Thinking that there were only two people on Chu Feng's side, their strength was just like that, fully capable of decapitating and then running away. Who knows? After understanding what happened, Chao Qian slapped the man to death. Chu Feng and Chao Qian could not help but look at each other, and in their hearts, they could not help but be thankful that they had fortunately taken the golden eagle under their wing. Otherwise, under the siege of those people just now, it was absolutely impossible to escape. Chao Qian, first go to the city lord's mansion to heal your wounds before going over there, Chu Feng said as he looked at Chao Qian. This time, he had tangled with that five elements old Taoist for so long, and had also eaten a blow from the other party on the last occasion. There must be injuries on the body. That was why Chu Feng proposed to go and heal his wounds first before going over for the trial. Chao Qian heard the words. The complexion cannot help but show some smiles too. The heart also rejoiced a few points, but still shook his head and said, "We've already delayed this one for too long, and for a day on purpose. If we drag it out any longer, this matter can be an extremely bad thing for you, Your Excellency, so it's best for us to go straight over there." In that case, they wouldn't dare say anything more. When Chu Feng heard that, he couldn't help but open his mouth and say, "But your injuries, if you were to directly go over." Chao Qian directly interrupted Chu Feng. "There's no buts, just now the engagement. Although the two of us were intense, we didn't appear to have much injuries, and were completely unaffected. Instead, if you don't go over there, they may have to bellyache about the Demon Emperor. Such a thing would be an extremely bad influence for the Demon Emperor's control of the demon race." When Chu Feng heard that, he stopped insisting, but still said, "Humph, these people dare. If the Demon Emperor wasn't around, these guys wouldn't even be a fart. Who would dare to say more about her?" Although he said so, Chu Feng still brought Chao Qian to rush over there. Chao Qian's heart grew sweeter and sweeter as she listened to these words. Tongzhou City, Northern District, Lu Yun Pavilion. What should we do this time? Old Taoist Five Elements. This accomplished fellow has disrupted all of our plans, and most importantly, he also gave away our trail. And now the city defense forces of Tongzhou City are all searching for us. It looks like if we don't leave this place, it won't be long before we're found. The Aqua Holy Maiden said with a gloomy face. She couldn't imagine that this Five Elements old Taoist would dare to do such a thing. Directly inside the city, stabbing at the people inside the demons. That could make things nasty. First of all, inside Tongzhou City, the demon clan is the biggest force inside. Isn't it obvious that they're challenging the majesty of the demon race by directly assassinating like this? If they didn't make a move, those small sects, however, would have completely ignored the rules of the demon race. As a direct result of this, the situation was that outside the Luyun pavilion, there were city guards searching for them, the human cultivators, all around. If you find someone who doesn't fit the record left inside the city, immediately arrest the other person. 5. With such a horrifying, intensive search, not to mention the fact that there were so many of them, it would be extremely difficult for even 2 people to hide here. Unfortunately, as he finished his words, but Jianji was all motionless, completely just immersed inside his own world. Looking at Jianji's appearance, Holy Maiden of Aqua knew that she couldn't pin her hopes on the other party, and after a moment of contemplation, she said, "There isn't any good way out now, nowadays. If we want to continue lurking, it's best for us to leave the city before we do so, otherwise, not to mention decapitating that brat, even staying alive is a problem." Upon hearing these words, only then did Jianji's eyes reveal some glimmer as he said, "Let things be arranged as you wish. I just need to solve the trouble. Alright, then let's leave this place now." At that moment, the Aqua Holy Maiden's few people no longer dragged their feet and directly left this place. After all, if you continue to stay here, you may be checked at the door the next moment. They left the place, and half an hour later, 2 city guards entered the place and began to search it. A short while later, the 2 came out. "It looks like this place is also a dark house that hasn't been gone for long," one of the city guards said. "Well, they left, so count them lucky, and the cure tracing won't be necessary." Another spoke up. "Okay, next house then." At that moment, the 2 of them didn't continue to say anything, so they headed towards the next place. They've seen too many situations like this one. On the human side, due to the existence of the righteous sects, it left a very large number of cultivators with no resources, and they were only able to fall into casual cultivation. But among the scattered cultivators, there weren't a lot of resources, so naturally there were incidents of killing for treasure. After killing too many people, it was natural to come to feud with the clan. That won't keep them alive over there. As a last resort, it was only possible to escape to this side. But coming over here, not just anyone is able to gain the status of a demon, and so it becomes the blackest of them all. Like this, there are hundreds of thousands of people in Tongzhou City without a million. How many men would it take if they chased after the other side as soon as they ran? So, such a situation is still really rare for Lao Ma, old Tao of the 5 elements. You definitely won't be given any good fruit to eat when you go back. The Holy Maiden of Aqua led a group of people to hide left and right, avoiding several lines of defense. She eventually left Tongzhou City, but due to a variety of problems, it caused her face to show a bit of fatigue as well. This directly long made her furious. Originally none of them needed to do this, but the 5 elements of the old Taoist so dry, directly makes them. Tongzhou City, in a luxurious mansion within the DC district. "Greetings, Your Highness. The elders are all inside. Please head inside." Just after Chu Feng arrived here, the 2 guards greeted Chu Feng. "This is where we're going to come to the rendezvous, and since you stood them up, it might be tricky later, but with me here, just do it with confidence, and as for the rest, leave it to me." Xiao Qian pulled Chu Feng's hand and said in a domineering manner, "Good." Although he did not know what kind of situation he would face, Chu Feng's face did not have a look of panic at all. "Yo, Your Highness can really be worthy of being Your Highness, even come to participate in such a big event. Can say postponement is how long to come? Just how long to come? That's a lot of racket." Chu just walked in and directly confronted him. "What's the matter? You're that existence again. Come here without even looking at the crowd just to see talking like this. Denigrating Lord Demon Emperor. It seems like you kind of don't want to live, right?" Listening to this person's words, Chu Feng immediately knew that the trip that Xiao Qian had said in advance was coming out now. At that moment he had no trouble, and put his hat on him before he said anything else. That demon race was momentarily at a loss as to where to take the words from when Chu Feng said that, because as Chu Feng had said, his identity was sealed by the Demon Emperor. To denigrate him would be the same as denigrating the Demon Emperor. It showed that the Devil Emperor had extremely poor vision and extremely bad men. The Emperor was not strict, but within the demon race, Tang Shishir, the Demon Emperor's name and reputation were the highest. If Chu Feng sat on this charge against him, not to mention him being a tiny heaven realm cultivator, even if he was a transfiguration mortal realm or true immortal realm cultivator, and don't try to take advantage of it. Only after a burst of hasty whirring did this demonic cultivator come back to his senses and hurriedly defended. "All of my things can be said against you, but there is not the slightest intention to denigrate Lord Demon Emperor. Don't you bleed here." When Chu Feng heard that, he could not help but smile slightly. This guy had already fallen inside the pit. As long as he pushed him, he would be completely able to borrow the knife to pit people. The pit made him skeptical. At that moment, he spoke up. I'm the Demon Emperor's Royal Highness who was enthroned along with him. And you're talking about this? If you're not slandering the Demon Emperor, what is it then? Does it mean that one has to directly denigrate the Demon Emperor in order to be considered disrespectful to him?